Well, good morning, everybody. Danny back from Pecan Grove out here in the shop today. We are going to be doing a few things on the video for the Farmall today. One, I did not get to video this, guys. It came a literal storm yesterday when I was installing the clutch fan system on this Farmall and the shroud and alternator and all that. And you couldn't hear yourself think inside this building. That rain was coming down so hard. So what I'm going to do is take and turn around, and I'm going to explain a little bit what I can about it, about installing that fan system, because unless you know what to do, you will break it. Now this one here, like we said before, doesn't have the oil thing in it. This one has the sealed bearings, which is what I wanted. And I want to take and show you what to do and which nut to loosen on this fan system so that you don't break it. Because lots of people break these things because they try to turn the wrong nut on it. So we're going to flip the camera around and we're going to look at it. And I'm also going to explain a few things about that small tiny alternator that you get from Steiner's to go on this tractor. There's a couple of things I think that everybody should know about these, because I've bought two of them and they've been identically the same on both of them. And it is an issue that can get you in trouble. When you go to put these belts on, you have to take this fan system. There's a yoke right here in the top of this. My finger's sliding down in a yoke. This fan slides down in a yoke here. You have to take that fan completely out of that yoke to put these belts on it here. This belt going to the alternator or generator, whichever one you have, it's the same belt for both of them, is too short to go over the fan blades here. So you have to take it out of the yoke. Now, in order to take it out of the yoke, there is depending on which one you have now, my other one that had the oil bath in it had a 13/16 nut right inside right here. And that's the one you turn to loosen, not the one on the back. The one on the back is slid down in a groove back here, and it locks itself. So if you try to turn this one, you will break this yoke right here. So turn this one in here. Now the new one that has the sealed bearings has a 7/8 nut on it. The one that had the oil bath on it has a 13/16 nut on it. Now this is since I converted it over to a 12-volt system from a 6-volt system, I've had to go to instead of a 20-inch belt for the generator, I've had to go to a 21-inch, a half-inch wide by 21-inch belt for the alternator over here. Now when you order these alternators, make sure you specify that you have a half-inch belt for the pulley on it, because you can get the pulleys, different pulleys for this thing. And you don't want to get here and have a 5/8 pulley for a half-inch belt. Now this alternator, when they send the bolts for this alternator, you don't have to worry about the one they send under here, because that one under there has a nut made for that bolt right there. But now the one that they send to go in the alternator right here, and the one that they send to go back up in here that mounts that bracket to the water outlet, and this one here is two bolts that look just like this. These bolts will not screw in this alternator. They will not screw into this water outlet back here. These bolts are evidently metric. They come in a separate package from the alternator. And when I ordered the alternator for my former Farmall Cub that I had, I ran into the same exact issue. When I got this one, I had the same exact issue. Someone needs to contact Steiner's and tell them they need to put the right bolts in with those mini alternators, because this will not screw in that. That looks like standard threads in the alternator, and these are metric threads on these. So those are something there. Don't keep forcing it in there and break your alternator, or ring a bolt off, or break your water outlet over here. Go ahead and just get you two 5/16 inch standard thread bolts to go in that. Now that is the two things that I wanted to mention there. There is one other thing on Farmalls that you don't hear anybody talk about, and I'm going to see if I can move this camera over. On your Farmall Cubs, there is a screw right here that has a rubber O-ring behind it, and there is a screw right here that has a rubber O-ring behind it. These are made, get the grease off of that right there where you can actually see it a little bit better. These are 2 points that you're supposed to screw an Alamite in and grease these. This is to grease this in here greases the main distributor shaft going into your governor system here, and this one greases the governor. Now when you grease this one, on the back side back here behind that coil back in there, there's a little tiny hole that when you pump grease here, it'll shoot out that hole right there when it's ready. This one here, now you can over grease this one. I recommend, when I took this one off, it was completely bone dry. Nobody had ever put an Alamite in there and greased that. It took about 5 pumps on the grease gun just to get enough grease in here to keep that system greased in there. And then once you do that, you might want to put 1 pump once a year, maybe something like that in there, just to, you don't want to over grease it. And then this one here, just 1 pump every, I don't know what the actual recommendation is on it. I do it once every 2 or 3 months on mine. If I run it a lot, I just put 1 pump in it to keep that distributor shaft greased right in there. I've never heard anybody talk about that on any video, and I found it by accident in a manual that talks about servicing a Farmall Cub. And when I come out here and look, sure enough, there was 2 screws there with rubber things on it. So I just left the Alamites in it. I was like, why would I want to put the rubber screw back in there? That lets me know every so often I need to put a little grease in that thing. So I thought I'd share that with y'all. I'm trying to give you as much information on these Cubs that gets thrown away or just not mentioned as I possibly can. Now, we're going to move from here over to the touch control system. And guys, it may take me a while on that thing now because that's the first time I've ever had one apart in my life. And I've got a paper there in front of me, and hopefully I can put this thing back together and we can make it work.